So Harneet is here with us today. Harneet is an IMS student, and he scored a 331 on GRE with a 169 on Quant, a near perfect score, and 162 on verbal, right?
Hi guys, I'm Harneet. I am a third year student at St. Xavier's College. I study economics and statistics, and I gave the GRE for an economic master's course that I am planning to apply for the next year.
Can you tell me when did you start with your GRE prep? Yeah.
I enrolled for the IMS course in February. So my
Okay.
classes started in mid or late February. I don't remember exactly. So it started then, and I was supposed to give my GRE in July, but it got delayed a bit because of the a lot
Yeah.
inconveniences that were there, and I didn't
Yeah.
know how the online GRE process also works. Yeah, so I started in February. My classes ended in April. I think the last few bit of classes were online because everything shut down,
Hmm.
and then after that it was just practice and mocks. So I gave my GRE on 9th August.
Okay.
Yeah, so February to August is the period that I prepared.
It was the first attempt that you wrote, right? You've only written a single attempt. Okay, that's wonderful. So can you tell us what was your strategy like when you were doing the classes? How did you approach, practice along with the studies in your college? How did you manage that?
Okay, so I started in February, and most of us, like, the college portion is already done, so it was a bit relaxed then. So as the classes proceeded, like what I did was I was just regular to the classes. The in-class prep needs to be really well. So
Right.
as I think in-class prep is taken in the class, so you don't need to do it. There is some homework that you can do after that.
Hmm.
So what I did was during the class, I just solved the in-class prep, and after the whole IMS, the classes were done. Then I took time to revise that again, and then do all the post-class
Hmm.
kind of sequences. So
Okay.
that's how I proceeded. And after that, after the entire thing was over, like the IMS classes and my material was exhausted, then I
Hmm.
started giving mocks, which is really important because once your material is exhausted, only then you should start giving the mocks. Then you will
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
you are standing. So then I started giving mocks. I gave 2, 3 mocks. Then I found how where are the areas that I'm lacking in. So suppose, like, for me, quantitative was more important, so I focused on few areas of quantitative.
And mostly math oriented is what I'm gathering from your experience because you wanted a better math score. So for all of those out there targeting the STEM programs, also realize that Harneet was focused on the math score because that's what is actually more important, especially because he wants to apply for a PhD degree and a doctorate degree later on. It becomes even more important. Can you talk a bit about what exactly were a few things that you kept in mind while preparing for Quant? Given that Quant was always your stronger suit, what was it that you did to ensure that you maxed out on Quant?
Yeah, so first of all, I would just like to say out there that a lot of us really hype up GRE.
Mhm.
Like GRE is, like, it definitely is very important. It is a set criteria that will allow colleges to screen your applications, but it's not the end of the world. It's not something that needs to be hyped up because it's something that you've been studying since childhood. It's something, it's basic 10th maths. It's something that you've always known and studied. So don't need to hype it up. Don't need to, like, focus on, you need to focus on the quality of the question rather than the quantity of the question. You need to do smart practice rather than hard work, because I think that really matters a lot. You need to practice. One most important thing that I kept in mind for quant was timing yourself. So right from the
Yeah.
start, even when you're doing the in class or you're doing the post class, do a kind of like a prorata that, say, for the post class, I think per topic there are 30 questions that are there in each set.
Right.
And suppose like your GRE is 20 questions in 35 minutes. So aim to solve that 30 ka set in together and in 45 minutes only. One set, which is the first
Mm.
font section that you always get, is far bit easier than the second one that you always get.
Yeah.
And the second one will
I'll just point that out. I'll just interrupt you here for a second. It's always a bit easier for the ones who happen to totally nail the first section. Yeah. So in your case, it was easier, and the second section was tougher. Yeah, anyway, please
Yeah,
carry on.
second section does kind of like throw you off if your first section, but I think timing is really more important when you're practicing Quant questions. So yeah, I think that is one thing that I really kept in mind while practicing Quant.
You didn't do too badly at verbal either, right? You scored a 162 on verbal. And just tell me your journey as to how did you find verbal reasoning section of GRE? What was it all about?
So during the days that were leading to my GRE, like the month before, like that was the month of July. The month of July, I was just focused on learning words, because
Okay.
if you do not know words, you cannot do sentence comparison. You cannot do fill in the blanks, the kind of thing that is there, text completion.
Right.
Because even if you know the context of the question, if you do not know like two out of the three options that are there in each of those blanks,
Mm.
you might not be able to fill anything. So that is where you need to be more importantly focused on remembering words. As for reading comprehensions, I would just say that the material that is given to you is more than enough for the IMS things, and the mocks and the sites like the My IMS portal. The reading comprehensions given there will prepare you for
Mm.
that. And I just think you need to make sure, I think when most of you are attending classes, there are various types of questions that are told, like some keywords are told, like suppose something that is directly taken out of the passage, something that has to be inferred, something that has to be it's there but you have to characterize the entire title of the thing, or the entire kind of like the meaning of the passage. I think those strategies really do come in handy. And remember the different types of questions that RCs ask you. Critical reasoning, critical reasoning is something that I found really fun to practice, because again, it's just like quantitative comparison. It makes you feel it's easy, but there are underlying meanings. You have to be really sort of like play detective in your mind and just go down and see what are the possible cases that this can work or this can't work, and those things. So I think read your pre-class notes really well. They talk about a lot of strategies, a lot of cases, and solve everything you have really well, at least for RCs and critical reason.
All the best to everyone. And thank you, Haneet, for this wonderful, very informative webinar.